Welcome to Careers and Cartwheels, the podcast where two mums with two very different lifestyles talk about the
chaos and joy
and raw truths of motherhood. Whether you're juggling meetings or mastering messy play and learning plans, there's a place for you in our mum community.
Hello, fellow listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Careers and Cartwheels. Tonight, Zana and I thought we would talk about a topic that we briefly touched on in an episode that we posted last year about PMDD. And we talked about the topic of parental burnout. And I think with life lately, we've both just been really busy. So we thought it would be a good time to maybe dedicate a whole episode to talking about parental burnout, what it is, and how we kind of feel it's impacting us. And particularly myself, I've had a really busy, stressful couple of weeks. So I've sort of noticed that parental burnout kicking in, and there's certain things that I've been feeling and things that I've been doing, and I'm like, am I stressed or is this parental burnout? So welcome, Zana, to another episode. Let's get going. So do you want to just do a quick, update? How's life been going? Anything particular been happening that you want to share with our fellow listeners?
I'm excited tonight. I'm using my new gear, as you can see.
Yes, that's right.
Got my headphones, got my camera, got my microphone.
For our fellow listeners, Zana got a lovely surprise from her husband when he came home with all this gear for your podcasting.
He did. He's lovely like that. So I'm a little bit excited to use this for the first time. I have recorded for matrescence, but not using video. So this is my first time using the camera. What's been going on? Gosh, just the usual, just busy with homeschooling, busy with life. Matrescence is kicking off on Mother's Day weekend. So that's really, really exciting. Actually, it'll be kicking off the day after this airs. So, that's all been really exciting. We have had a few evenings put aside for recording, and it's either been you can't do it or I can't do it. But you've had a lot going on. I would say more than the last couple of weeks. I'd probably say the last, few months, maybe since school started, right? When did school start? What month are we? We're in May.
Use mainstream schooling. It starts at the end of January. For those at homeschool, you never stop.
We stop and start when, at different times, but yeah.
I think it was, I think for me it was, I had a really busy month. I think it's been March and April because I had my 40th and then we had to go down to Barrel for a wedding. They were weekend straight after each other. And then we had two of Andrew's boys have their birthdays last weekend. So the Anzac Day weekend. So the actual Anzac Day had a bunch of 15-year-olds over, trying to keep their bottomless pits happy. And then the Sunday we had, I'm going to say 8 to 9-year-olds. So we had quite a big group of kids. I'm not even sure if I told you, but we had a split head open. So
no, you didn't.
Yeah, we had a bit of a casualty with one of the boys. They're just boys being boys. I honestly thought it would be around the pool, but no, it actually happened on the patio. Just boys wrestling. One of the boys was play kicking another boy, and he fell back and hit his head on the door frame for the door.
Oh.
It was about a centimetre gash at the back of his head that had to go and get
gosh.
glued. So that was a really shit moment where I had to call that mum and say, I'm really sorry, but can you come and pick your son up because he has split his head?
How do you even have that conversation? How did that go?
Well, I had her number, but I said, here, honey, I'll put mum on the phone and you can tell mum. She was so understanding. And I think having a child that's constantly hurting himself, I get it, kids are kids, they hurt themselves. Caleb's done the same thing on his forehead when he fell over at daycare. We had to take him and get his head glued, So I
Mm.
guess because I've got quite a clumsy child, I get it. She wasn't surprised and she was like, oh no, he's hurting himself all the time. I think he went to a friend's place in the school holidays and split his chin open. So
Oh my
she
goodness.
wasn't surprised, but I just felt awful. But I did
Mm.
check in with her in the afternoon and say, hey, I just want an update to make sure he's okay. And she's like, yeah, he's all glued back home with some Panadol. He's all good. So, yeah, that was not great from a parent point of view because you're like, oh, like if that was your child, how would you feel? But we were very excited when 3 o'clock came and everyone went home. So
I bet.
so we can relax. So I think it's just been a really busy, I've been busy, work's been busy, personal life has been busy, and I've just been really feeling really burnt out, like, and I've been noticing some behaviors sort of creeping back in. And I think when we touched on this topic last year, it was
Mm.
on the back of me getting an unofficial PMDD diagnosis because I was feeling really withdrawn. I wasn't enjoying life. I know I was a mum and I have my beautiful kids and I was grateful for that, but I didn't feel like I was able to show up 100% for my kids and give them what I wanted to. And I think I just felt really, like my cup was empty and I didn't know what I needed to fill it back up. And I started doing some research back then and I joined a Facebook group called Parental Burnout. And I guess that was a real eye-opening moment for me that, hey, this is actually quite, I'm not going to say normal, but it's common. And especially as, us mums and we're trying to juggle so many different hats, it was kind of comforting to know that there was essentially a label to put to how I was feeling. Um, but that's essentially, I think, what's led us to talk about this tonight is because I've been feeling those feelings again. And I just thought we would talk about, what we feel is parental burnout and maybe some strategies that we have to help deal with that. And I think from my point of view, the first step is recognizing the overwhelm that you feel and, how you can, I guess you just feel like you're constantly running on autopilot. Your tank's empty and you don't know how to fill it back up. Yeah.
And you don't find the time to fill it back up as well.
Yeah. And it's not even that, like, me, I go to the gym and it was to the point where I didn't even want to go to the gym because
Mm.
I just felt no joy at all in life. Um,
Yeah.
and
So
that was,
walk us through the things that you were feeling that made you think, hang on a second, this has got to be something more than just exhaustion or a phase or the day or the week's just been really busy. Talk us through those symptoms that had piled up or those things that had piled up that you noticed over time that you thought, okay, collectively, if we put this all together, I think that this can be explained by burnout. What were those things?
I've always been the type of person that I'm always very active. I'm always on the go. I always take on a lot. And, I'm super organized. I'm used to handling a lot. I'm used to having kids at sports, work,
Mm.
busy 2-year-old. Like I'm used to having all that. And I think for me, I hear these words so much, and I don't know if they're helpful, but I don't know how you do what you do all the time. When I explained
Mm.
my situation, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do what you do. And sometimes it's like, oh, I just do. I don't have a choice. I just do. And then sometimes you kind of think those comments are quite unhelpful because you're like, well, what else am I going to do? Like, I can't not show up for my kids. And I've always kind of looked like I've got it together and I'm on track, I'm doing everything. But I think sometimes I don't stop and realize how exhausted I am and how much I'm just feeling overwhelmed. And sometimes that doesn't really kick in tonight because, like you get that, the afternoon, get home and I've got, 5 kids lined up having dinners and I've got this one talking at me and I've got this one talking at me and I'm trying to get the 2-year-old to eat and there's just so much going on. And you kind of just like, you just got to do it, right? Like what other choice you have? You can't just go and lock
Yeah.
yourself in your bedroom and expect the
Yeah.
kids to deal with it. And I think for me, I noticed that I was becoming really snappy
Yeah.
and I'm normally like really excited to go to the gym. Like that's my me time. I didn't even want to go. I made every excuse under the sun not to even go to the gym. Um, I
And
also
we all
started,
know that that is definitely not you, and that is
no,
uncharacteristic of you. So yeah, that would definitely be a flag.
yeah. And I noticed that I started binge eating. So I don't have a binge eating disorder or anything like that, but I know that when I'm stressed, some people, they stop eating. Like I know that's more what you do.
Mm.
Um, Whereas I'm the opposite. I see food as a bit of a comfort. And so I noticed that I was starting to like binge eat, but then it becomes this vicious cycle because as I have this all or nothing kind of mentality. And I've been, over the last 6 months, I've been super strict with my food. Like I track everything I eat. And then for me, it's like, oh, I'm just going to have one piece of chocolate. No, 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 I can't just have one piece. I'm going to have another piece. And then I've had 2 rows. And then it's like, oh, I'm not going to document that in my fitness pal because then I have to take ownership of what I've eaten and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to have another row of chocolate. And
Because it
then I
doesn't
would,
count anyway.
because it doesn't count. And then you're on this vicious cycle of punishing yourself because you're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. But then you just go, fucking who cares? I'm just going to eat everything I can see. And that to me is usually a sign that I'm not coping. Um, so there was a combination of a lot of different sort of symptoms for me that identified that I'm quite burnt out. I'm empty. I'm running on empty.
So it was not finding joy in the things that you would normally find joy in. It was
Yeah.
not finding your usual tools as helpful, so such as the gym. It was your stresses that were coming out. It was, I suppose, the eating and the using food for comfort was definitely a sign for you as this is not going well. This is me being stressed and being snappy at the kids and just being snappy in general.
Just feeling like you're not getting joy from anything that you do. You are just existing, like you get up in
Yeah,
the morning and you make kids lunches and you drop them at school and then you've got to be at the train by a certain time and then you go to work and you've got to show up at work. And I've been struggling to focus at work as well. So like I'm quite distracted and just the thought of having to sit at my desk and do my work, I just, like I just couldn't do it.
yeah,
And then you get on the train and you do the same thing in reverse and you pick kids up and you get home and you do that dinner rush and,
yeah,
and then you sit down at the end of your day and you just like, I didn't do anything today
yeah,
that I enjoyed.
yeah.
And, and then you play the guilty game, right? Because you're like, I should be showing up better for my kids. And I'm not saying, the last 2 months I haven't had any joy. That's not what I'm saying. Nor that am I saying that I haven't showed up for my kids because I have good days and I have
Mm.
bad days. And a good day for me is identifying, hey, I'm gonna make an effort to sit with my kids and do homework, or I'm gonna make an effort to sit down with Caleb. And there are some things that I'm still okay with, like oh my gosh, I don't know about you, but when Caleb wakes up from his lunchtime nap, I reckon it's a good half an hour to calm him down. He wakes up hysterically crying.
Oh,
Like, and I don't, it's not every day, but because he still has his day naps, but he's often like, just cries, and you try and comfort him, and he's just, I want this. No, I don't want this. And then you take it away, and then he has a meltdown because he wanted that. And you're just like so frustrated. But I'm still able to try and, be present and say, hey, baby, I get down on the floor with him and I try and, do you want to cuddle? What can mummy do to make you happy? What's wrong? Like I'm not being a shit parent, but I'm also aware that I'm not my normal self at the same time. Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. Another thing that I've also heard you say, you know, we do the whole voice messages quite frequently. And one thing that I've heard you say a couple of times is feeling numb. Hey, I reckon that I wonder if that's a coping mechanism, you know,
Yeah. Um, yeah, feeling numb and just feeling like you're just existing. And
detaching yourself
yeah, and I think
almost.
I think the other thing I struggle with is because we are a blended family, there's lots that I do for the kids that are not biologically mine. And, I do it because I love them and I care about them and I want to give them every opportunity that I can. But because they are young, they don't understand that I don't have to do what I do for them. And some days I think when I am stretched to my max and I am feeling numb, I feel really underappreciated. And I feel
Mm,
really like I'm doing this for these kids because I love them, but you just don't feel that gratitude. But then at the same time, you're kind of like, well, they're only young. Like, did I really appreciate all the things that my parents did to me for me when I was their age? But I think in my mind, because I'm not their biological mother, it's kind of like I want them to appreciate everything I do because I don't have to do it. And so I have days where I really struggle with that as well. And so adding
mm.
that on top of, feeling burnt out, you just get lost in these negative thoughts in your head. And sometimes it's really hard to move away from that, which is what the gym usually does, like
Yeah.
I always think about, have you seen Legally Blonde, the movie?
Yeah.
When like Reese Witherspoon's character, she's trying to figure out who murdered the person, and she's like, you know, happy people don't just murder people, like exercise gives you endorphins and endorphins make you happy. And I always think about Elle Woods when I go to the gym, like endorphins make you happy. And I never
Mm.
leave the gym. I never leave the gym angry. Like, do you ever leave the gym angry?
No, no. Sometimes I get to the gym angry, angry that I had to peel myself out of bed to get there. And you know this because the amount of times I've sent you like a voice message. I think this morning was one of them. I'm just not in the mood. But yeah, but no, I'm always grateful that I went once I actually step out of the gym. So yeah, definitely.
When you're feeling like that, because I know that your husband was aware that your monthly cycle's coming up, so he's like, oh, because you know how it's going to affect you. So he was subtly
Yeah.
encouraging you to go, and you
Hmm.
did, and you felt better after.
I did. Yeah, no, I did for the most part. Yeah, I think my issue is I'm really not comfortable at the gym. The gym is not my happy place. I go because it helps my rheumatoid arthritis and because it helps it's like a coping thing for me as well. Like it definitely is a protective factor against this sort of stuff that we're talking about, like the parental burnout. And it's something that I do for me, for my health, physically, emotionally, mentally, that sort of thing. So I definitely reap the benefits of it. However, the gym itself, the structure of the gym, is not somewhere I've ever felt comfortable. So going is really, really hard. I would do better if I was able to go with a partner. But obviously, that's not an option. Um, but I still make it there somehow.
And I remember in your voice message today, you were talking about how you used to enjoy outdoor yoga
Mm,
because you didn't feel confined to being inside. And
I just love being outside.
oh, who wouldn't? It's beautiful. You get some
Mm,
vitamin D. I was actually at a work lunch on Friday, and a lot of the clients that we were with were from the UK. And we
mm,
started talking about the winter in the UK, how you go to work and it's dark, and you leave and it's dark.
yeah.
And I sort of said to them, I'm like, like, I really struggle with that because I'm like, are you telling me that you don't see the sun? Like, how do you not get vitamin D deficiency? Um,
Mm,
they're like, oh, if you get stuck at lunchtime and you don't get outside of the office, you literally don't see the sun. And I'm just
wow.
like, that's horrible. Like, I can't
That is
imagine.
that is so interesting. Like, I wonder if that has an impact on not only their vitamin D, but also their mental health, because natural light and
Mm,
nature and being outdoors is so good for our mental health. I remember when I used to work with clients, one of the things I always said to them was, do you have a park nearby? Can you go for a walk? Go for a walk.
yeah.
I read this article many, many years ago. This would have been about 10 years ago now. But I read this article that trees emit some sort of, I don't know, something into the air that is actually good for our our brain and our chemistry. It's late at night, my brain's not working. So I always used to tell my clients, go to a park with some trees and just walk amongst the trees, because the trees are good for our emotions and our mental health.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
No,
so interesting.
I always try and get out of the office, even if it's for 15, 20 minutes, and just go for a walk at lunchtime just to get outside of the aircon. So our office is sometimes so cold that I'm like shivering. So I go one outside to defrost. And then two, just because you get stuck in like the aircon and I don't know, it's just nice getting outside of the office sometimes. So I can't imagine ever working somewhere where you start like you go to
Mm,
work and it's dark and you finish and it's dark. But then their summers are long, so the sun's up really early and it doesn't set till really late. But I just, that winter period, because it can probably last like 6 months sometimes.
yeah, something about rates of depression are actually more prevalent in winter. So there would definitely be a correlation there.
Have you ever, well, in your wisdom, because you do lots of reading and you do lots of research, have you read anything around parental burnout?
Not until you mentioned it. So this is all like quite new to me in terms of the way that we're speaking about it now. But I did find Calm, so calm.com. They do have an article that I've sort of been just skimming a little bit, and some of the things that they list as some things to look out for burnout are things like chronic exhaustion. So this is where sleep doesn't fix your tiredness. This is when you wake up tired and you wake up feeling that wiped out, that drained, that just I got nothing in me even after sleep. That's that chronic exhaustion, irritability and angry outbursts. So, snapping over small insignificant things. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like when I've got a 5-year-old who loves yellow. So he must have the yellow plate and the yellow cup at dinner time. Must be yellow. And most of the time, happy mum me, no worries, darling, let's get you the yellow plate and the yellow cup. I always know. Of course, there are days where you're just like, just take whatever cup and plate are there. It doesn't have to be yellow.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Days like that too.
Yeah, oh, don't we all? Don't we all? Emotional numbness or detachment. And that's the one that I said that I really recognized in you, because in a lot of the voice messages that you've left me, you've really referred to this. And I kind of feel like that was almost like your way of coping.
It's funny because my husband would ask me all the time, what can I do to make you smile? And it's not feel like I was walking around like really sad, but I just didn't feel like I was enjoying anything. Therefore, you didn't see the joy on my face, right?
Mm,
And so he was always like, what can I do to make you smile? I want to see you smile. What can I do? And my response to him was, I don't know myself. It's not like
yeah.
I would say to him, hey, oh, just make me dinner. That'll make me happy, because he
Mm,
probably could have made me dinner and I wouldn't have felt any different. Like I just felt
yeah.
so indifferent and lost.
Depleted.
Yeah, and I didn't know myself what I needed to fill my cup up.
Mm,
Like, do you know what I mean? And so it's really hard.
yeah.
It was hard for him because I'm like, I want to help you. I want to see you smile. I'm like, and I fully appreciate that, but I honestly don't know what I need right now. And
Mm,
that's that feeling depleted and just feeling numb.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm. What
It's a
else did
tough
Mom say?
situation. They said brain fog and forgetfulness.
That's been me.
Don't we all? It has been you, yes.
It's
I've noticed
I'm
that.
not normally like that, am I? Like I'm
Yeah.
usually super organized. And even my husband came up to me tonight and he's like, are you okay? Because he's like, we were looking for my car keys and I couldn't find them. And I'm like, oh, look, here they are. I must have put them in the drawer and I didn't remember that I did
Mm.
that. And there's always been, my daughter's been asking me for a light bulb for her bedroom. I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm going downstairs to do it now. And then I get distracted and she's like, putting her to bed tonight. She's like, Mummy, did you find the light bulb? And I'm like, I'm really sorry, honey, I forgot. And even she's noticed that's not like me. Like I'm usually super organized and, like I have often got 5 people asking me for different things and I'm
Yeah.
usually really good at organizing them. Like, yep, I'll get you this. Yep, yep, yep. And I've always prided myself on being that person. But just lately, that brain fog, holy, it's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
bad.
It's
Mm,
impacted your day to day, hasn't it?
mm.
And the last thing that they mentioned was some physical symptoms. So things like headaches, muscle tension, gut issues, insomnia. So, I mean, and that's no surprise, is it? Especially all the reading that you've done lately into gut health, it's no surprise that when things are going on here with that mental stuff, that overwhelm, that burnout, of course, it's going to impact our gut. They're so closely linked.
Yeah, I think so I went and saw my physio last week. I've One of the things that I tend to do when I'm stressed is I clench my jaw a lot
Mm,
and I don't even realize I'm doing it. And so I was getting quite like sore in the jaws. So I saw her about that and she's just like, you just got to try and be more aware, maybe be more present and go, hang on a second, I'm clenching my jaw and just try and relax. The second thing that I've noticed being really stressed is, I've talked in previous podcasts how I've struggled for a long time with constipation and I'm going down this journey of gut health. And I talked to my physio about that. She recommended like kefir and kombucha and all that sort of
yeah.
stuff, which is great. Um, but a lot of the problem that I have is with the constipation is I might feel the urge to go, but because I'm so busy, I put it off
Yeah.
because I'm like, no, no, I don't have time to go to the toilet right now.
And that's
I'll
the
do
one
it
thing they
later.
say don't do.
And she looked at me and she's like, you need to stop doing that.
Mm,
And I'm like, but I in my mind don't know how to stop doing that because, it's hard enough, especially when you're constipated to go. But then it's just like, I can't relax enough. And the other problem I've got is because I feel so tense and, stressed at the moment, when I do try and go, I'm not relaxing my pelvic floor enough. So it's kind of
mm,
like a double-edged sword. So I put it off then when I do try and go, I really struggle because I don't allow myself to relax.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, you get told you want a good, strong pelvic floor so you don't sneeze and wee yourself, which is a very common thing that happens after you have kids. But then they're like, oh, no, 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 we want you to relax your pelvic floor when you're doing a number two. And I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I'm so confused.
That is so interesting. I had something similar. So I saw the physio after Luca was born, because I had this issue where I was like, if I needed to go do a wee, I had to, like, I didn't have a lot of time. It was like, I need to be in the toilet right now or I'm going to wee myself. And I went and saw the physio and I was just like, this is really inconvenient. Like, when this hits, I got to go, like, I have seconds to find a toilet and go. And she did like an internal exam and she said, it's not an issue of you need strengthening. She said it's the opposite. Your issue is you're too tight. So you need to relax. And I'm like, I don't know how to relax. It's just, everything's just like,
And it's exactly the same when you're trying to do a poo too. Exactly the same.
gosh.
So, and this is what I struggle with is because I feel like I'm so time poor sometimes. And, the only time I might have to actually sit down is at 9 o'clock at night. And my body's like, no, no, no. I
It's time
wanted
to
you,
sleep.
I wanted you to do that 4 hours ago and you ignored my signal. So now you're going to have to wait. And so we also talked about like the correct positioning you should be in as well. So we talked about all that sort of stuff. But the big problem I have is I have an overactive pelvic floor when it comes to doing a number two. so,
Right.
so it is a thing. And so I think even elevating your, because she was talking about sort of elevating your feet up, but she's like, don't go on your tippy toes. Don't put your knees
Oh,
up and go on your tippy toes because when you do that, you're actually tightening your abs and then you're tightening
oh,
your pelvic floor. So
oh, I
there's
didn't
like,
know that. I do that all the
no,
time.
no. So the best thing to do is to get a stool. I'm not a physio, so please don't take this as advice, but the best thing to do is to have an elevated step, relax, and lean forward, because that's the best way that you can actually relax your pelvic floor.
Well, I remember like I would always do that after my C-sections. I was always
Yeah.
really scared to go. Like, if anyone's that has had a C-section knows, it is really scary to go after that whole cutting has happened. But yeah, I would always do that and that always helped. But now that I'm past that stage, I don't exactly keep a stool in the bathroom. Although I have heard physios say that you really should, because
This
that's
is
just the natural way.
Yeah, it is. So she suggested even if you don't have a stool, put your feet up on a roll of toilet paper under
Oh,
each.
okay.
Put your feet
Right.
up, but just don't go on your tippy toes because you actually activate your core and then you activate your
Oh,
pelvic floor, which is going against what you're trying to do.
yeah.
I was just like, oh,
There
okay.
you go, ladies. The tip of the night. Don't put your feet on your tippy toes when you're trying to do a number two. Use a step
Yeah.
stool instead.
But yes, it was one thing I struggled with, like, or when I was pregnant with Caleb as well, and even the postpartum journey,
Yeah.
because I had went to the pelvic floor clinic and got an internal exam, and yeah, she's like, "Oh no, you're just not relaxing enough. That's why you're struggling." My husband said to me today, he's like, "You need to relax," and I'm like, "That's like me telling you not to be ADHD. Like, I don't know how to relax. Like, I'm always on the
Yeah.
go, always got something to do." So that's one thing I
This
need to
is where
get
you need to listen to Nina and Mindfulness podcast. She's got some really
better.
good tips for you.
Oh, okay. I might need
Even
to
just
listen.
stopping and breathing and counting, you know.
Well, I've been doing the puzzles.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really love my puzzles. I actually started, that's actually frustrated me. It's called an impossible puzzle. I'm starting to think it's actually quite impossible. So it's got no outside, no edges, and it's got 5 pieces in there that are not meant to be there to throw you.
Oh,
and it's of a puppy, and so I feel like all the pieces look the same.
Yeah.
And so, but one thing I've been noticing that I've been doing when I do my puzzles is I will often just go, and my husband will think
Okay.
I'm like annoyed or something. I'm like, no, no, I'm just breathing out. Like I'm just de-stressing.
Taking a breath.
Yeah, being a sort of a little bit more mindful. And I'll be like, as I'm doing my puzzle, I actually find myself naturally, because I'm sort of focusing on just the puzzle and I'm relaxing my brain. And I naturally find that I do some quite
Mm.
deep breaths. So unfortunately, I can't take puzzles on the train, but that's what I have my setup at home at the moment, which is one of my strategies to try and manage the burnout, is finding something that I can do just momentarily.
Yeah.
It's going to sit down at the kitchen table. I've got a puzzle there, and I'm just going to spend 10, 15 minutes just trying to put some pieces together. And that to me has made a huge difference the last 2 weeks since I've had the puzzles on the table. So it's
Okay.
not necessarily filling my cup back up, but it's something that I do enjoy, and it
Yeah.
allows me to switch off, do a bit of deep breathing, and I feel so much more calm after doing
Yeah.
10 minutes of a puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know some
Okay.
people like to color in and stuff as a bit of a
Yeah.
calming strategy, but yeah, I just find puzzles do that for me.
Whatever helps, whatever helps. Well, that helps us switch into a conversation about some tips to, I guess, help prevent burnout or to cope as well. So, again, Calm is suggesting 16 tips. I don't know if we're going to go through all of them. The very first one, no, the very first one is really interesting. It's lower your standards. So I messaged you this morning and I said to you, I saw something, someone post something based off a conversation that they had around, are we glorifying this whole mum juggle idea? Are we are we making it seem like it's something to strive for, like it's a good thing by talking about it? And it really impacted me what they said. And I messaged you and I just thought, gosh, have we done it to ourselves? Have we created this juggle, this whole idea about mum juggle, the new norm, but it's actually unattainable and is it having a lot of impact on things like burnout and, mental health and mum's wellness, that sort of thing. What are your thoughts?
I mean, when I first became a mum 10 years ago, I'd never heard the phrase the mum juggle. I feel like it's
Mm.
only something recently, like, oh, look at me, I'm doing the mum juggle. I'm not enjoying the mum juggle. Like, it's tiring and it's exhausting. I think one of the things that I've been mindful of over the last couple of months is trying not just mindlessly scroll on Facebook and Instagram, because it can sometimes have a detrimental effect on my mental health. So one thing I did was I hid, like some people are like, they have apps everywhere on their phones, and some people have like got them allocated. I'm one of those people who's got folders for everything. So I have like a social media folder, and I hid the Facebook and Instagram app from there. And so when I would go into that it just becomes habitual. Like, you go into your phone, you go into the social
Yeah.
media folder. Oh, it's not there. I'm going to look at something else. And so by doing that, and I also set limits on my phone, so I can't spend more than half an hour a day on Facebook and Instagram combined.
Mm.
Um, I found that some days when I would be like really struggling, I'd pick up the phone more and I would mindlessly scroll more, and I would hit that 30 minutes so much earlier in the day. And then there's some days where I barely touch social media. So I try not to get too hung up on what everyone else is doing, and try and be more present for myself. But I do agree that we tend to be glorifying the mum juggle a lot more now than what we used to.
Mm.
Like, it wasn't a thing 10 years ago.
Yeah. And this whole super bum and all of that sort of stuff, isn't it? It's just all these unrealistic ideas, and it's unattainable. And I feel like it just sets us up for that sense of failure because we can't accomplish all of that all the time. And then when we can't accomplish it, we feel like we haven't done enough.
Mm. And I think
So,
that goes back to lowering the bar, right?
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're going to have good and we're going to have bad days. We're going to have some days where the house just looks like a shit show. And then we're going to
Mm,
have other days where we feel super organized and we're on top of everything. But I
mm,
think lowering the bar and lowering the expectation from the go-get. And
yeah.
I think I remember we had this chat with Nina actually around, you know, I know when I've got people coming over, I always feel like, oh, I have to say, oh, excuse the mess. And she said she never apologizes for the mess because she's got kids. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
she's like, I'm lowering the bar. I don't need to apologize to people if my house is a mess. My house is a mess. Who cares?
Because people live in it. And little people are messy.
Especially little people, although
Mm.
I'm not sure that big people are much different. Maybe it's just messy in different ways. But like you have this in your mind, like you scroll on Instagram or Facebook and you're like, oh, I want my house to look like a display home. No, never going to happen.
Mm. Unless
Kids,
it's like
kids
10
are going
o'clock
to,
at night and you've done the cleaning after the kids have gone to bed.
but even then, kids touch walls, they put food everywhere. But I think, yeah, lowering the bar is a big one. And it's so hard to do some days, right? Like some days you're like, yep, I'm not going to have any expectation today. Let's just gonna roll with it. But then there are other days where you just lay that mum guilt on because you haven't, you've set the bar too high from the start.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
It's unattainably high. A couple of other things that they mentioned, redefine rest. Um, so things like hiding in the laundry room for 3 minutes or lying flat on the floor while you breathe deep. Give your brain micro pauses throughout the day. Your nervous system will thank you. And I think that's what I mentioned about just take a few breaths, just stop and take a few breaths. Delegate like a boss.
Oh,
Kids
I've
can
actually
and should help. Is this not the conversation that I was having with you the other day where I said to you,
followed
in
lecture.
our house, the kids are expected to help. They do not get away with enjoying a meal without helping afterwards. They either help make it or they help pack it away or both. But you're part of this team, you're a part of this family. Doesn't matter how little you are, Luca can scrape his plate out into the bin. I feel like we should have those expectations on our children because I feel like it gives them that sense of
Mm.
purpose, that sense of contribution to the team. And I feel like that is good for their health and wellness.
Yeah, we have actually been having that chat this week, haven't we? Because I remember saying to you that I was, stressing out trying to get dinner on the table, and all the kids were either on TV or on iPads. And I think with the burnout sort of kick it in, I just went, this is enough. I'm not everyone's slave. Like everyone needs to help out. So we just said, that's it, right? Whoever's one kid every day, they're going to start helping me set the table hack everything away. I showed Zoe this week how to load the dishwasher. I'm like, I fully agree. It is a team effort and it shouldn't just be put onto one person to do. So that is a big one, trying to delegate. And I've been doing a lot more of that lately, and I
Mm.
do find that has been helping.
Yeah. Yeah. Eat like someone who deserves energy. Don't it
Ooh.
just eat the kids' scraps.
Yeah. What does that look like for you? Do you sit down with the kids and eat, or do you feed them and eat later?
It depends on the day. It depends
Yeah.
on the day. Some days are a little bit more rushed, even with our schedules, because we might have a group that we need to go to or whatever. So I'm not as careful about what I eat, although I try to be a little bit more mindful of it. But most of the time, I'm trying to set a good example. So I will sit down. Actually, both Miles, the 10-year-old, and Michael, my husband, Michael will message Miles and say, "Has mummy eaten today?" And so I like get these little reminders from both of them, make sure you eat, because I did have a really bad habit of not eating because, "Oh, I'm too busy, I can't sit down and eat," or whatever it is. So I feel like now I'm developing much better habits around that.
That's
Homeschooling has helped, like the days that we're at home where we have our lessons, we've got our schedule. I will sit down with the kids and I'll have my meal with them. And it's kind of like time together. We'll sit, we'll talk about the lessons that we just had, we'll talk about the chapter that we just read, we'll sort of debrief. So it depends on the day, but yes, I'm getting better at this. How about
yeah.
you?
Yeah, I think for me, I can't sit down and eat breakfast. There's just way too much to do. Um, we don't sit at our dining table. We have one, but we never sit at it. I always have the kids at the breakfast bar. And so, like, while I'm making lunches, one of them might be sitting there having breakfast and we can talk. With dinner, we tend to feed all the kids together and we don't have enough chairs at the breakfast table for like the breakfast bar for everyone. So I'll usually sit on the other side or stand on the other side. And while they're having dinner, I might be tidying up the kitchen at the same time. And then I might just be eating mine on the go, or I'll sit down sort of once the kids are all done because we do have a lot of kids and it gets really noisy. I know my husband struggles with the noise. Yeah, so we might sit down together later and eat, or I might feed all the kids and then I'll sit down and have my quiet time. But like I notice with the kids, I'm always picking them up and saying, no, sit down and enjoy your food, because there'll be a time in your life when you're so busy that you can't. I really should be like doing what I
Modeling
preach,
that.
practicing what I preach. But I do try, because especially when we've got the weeks when there's sports, so I'll have, yeah, my husband and I, he's rarely home when I'm feeding some of the kids, and so we rarely get to sit down and eat together. But I'll always, when one of the kids might get home from sports, I'll always kind of like be doing something in the kitchen while they're eating. Hello, mister. So that, I can actually spend a bit of time with them, or they don't feel like they're just standing there, in the kitchen on their own, isolated. So like they've got someone to talk to. But I also struggle. I feel like I need to be doing something while I'm eating. So even if I make my lunch, I'll come and sit down at the computer and do something because I feel like that slows my eating down. If I don't, I'm just like, so for me, if I'm doing something like working at the same time, I'm like taking regular breaks and actually letting the food process. So I tend to do that as well, just to try and stop the gorging sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And this little guy here, he's a bit of a stress relief for me too. Munch one moved off the table. Yeah, he's
Um,
stress relief too. Munch it.
and walking the dogs too.
Yes, my dogs. The other morning did not want to go to the gym, so instead I got up and took my dog for a walk,
Yeah, yeah. There you
which
go.
is definitely not stress free because she's very frustrating to walk. She's a
Yes,
cuddle.
I've heard. I've been on walks with you. It was stressful.
But yeah, it does feel good though to get outside and walk.
It does. It does. Especially where you live. It's quite pleasant in the evenings. I
Beautiful.
loved it. Yeah. Create a mum alone time signal. I actually have one of these. Have you got one?
No, no, please tell me yours.
It's going outside. So if everyone knows, if mummy says I'm going for a walk in the garden, they know mummy needs some time out. Yeah, I usually go for a walk every afternoon. It's like all day I'm so patient and so tolerant. My boys are noisy, and like I like quiet, but I try and just let them go. We're a homeschool family, we're always together. Lessons can become noisy, things can get disruptive. It is what it is. And I'm always really patient and tolerant of that. I'm accepting of that. But it usually gets to the point like by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, after I've done showers and whatnot, and dinner's coming, I'm in the middle of it. I get to a point where I'm like, boys, I'm just going to go outside for 5-10 minutes to go for a walk through the garden because that's my I need some quiet.
Yeah, signal actually. I think sitting down at the table and doing my puzzle has been my signal lately.
I love to dance with the kids. If
That's a good one. I do the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just put some music on. They love it. They love it. And it, makes everyone smile and yeah, yeah. Dance with your
that's
kids.
mm,
Get out of the house. Well, there
hmm
you go. Get outside. That's my signal. So,
yeah, that's good.
yep.
Yeah.
Name what you're feeling.
Mm,
Pause.
that's hard
Name
to
it.
do
I feel like
sometimes.
that's a huge one. Yeah. Um,
I think
oh,
that to go with that, it's not being afraid to name it. So not being afraid to say, hey, mummy's just not feeling herself right now. I just need time. Like I don't know how you go with Luca, but sometimes when Caleb's like having his moments, I'll sit down and go, are you feeling angry now? Are you feeling
yeah.
sad? Just do you need a cuddle? We do that with a 2-year-old. So why can't we do that with ourselves?
No,
Say,
absolutely. Like, me, I'm a huge advocate for naming emotions and being aware of our emotions. So we talk a lot about that in our house. But yeah, definitely, if I've snapped at them or I've had a moment, I will always pull myself up and say, mummy was feeling irritated or mummy was feeling frustrated or, and this is why.
yeah,
And I always want to explain to the kids it's okay to feel that. It's about what you do in that moment. And sometimes, we might raise our voice, we might yell, we might, say something that we shouldn't say. But it's also about how you step up
yeah,
afterwards. Did you apologize? Did you own it? And what are you doing about that?
yeah. No, that's a good one. I like that.
Um, Practice saying no.
Kids don't like hearing no, especially
No,
toddlers.
no.
Usually results. No, that's a good one. I tend to say yes. I tend to be a yes person, not necessarily to my kids, but to other people and taking on too much. Um,
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the most important one. Practice saying no to others.
mm,
And the last one, such a good reminder for us all. Remind yourself that this is a season.
yes.
It's just a season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do say that to my husband all the time. I'm like, I know it's really busy now, but it's not always going to be like this. So yeah, we do. I do identify that sometimes. Like especially with 2-year-olds, it's such a busy, hard season, but it's not going to be forever.
No, no, it's
Mm.
so fleeting, really, in the grand scheme of life. Hey, when you look at the
Yeah.
bigger picture. So, all right. Well, I think we've covered a lot today. We've covered the things that have been going on in our lives, how you've been feeling, your parental burnout experience, how it's showed up for you. We've gone through some symptoms in general. We've gone through some of our strategies as well as some other strategies that have been recommended. I think the hot tip of the night has to be, though, don't go on your tippy toes when you're doing a number 2. Use a step stool.
If all else fails, just grab 2 rolls of toilet paper. That has to be.
That's it. That's
so
it.
Your key takeaway from this whole conversation, Zana. I would just like to say that, life is busy, whether you have a career or you're homeschooling or you're a stay-at-home mum, we've all got commitments. Life's busy. It can just be a lot sometimes. Sometimes we're thriving and sometimes we're just surviving, but both
and that's
are
okay.
Yeah. So it's just a reminder that you don't have to do it perfect all the time.
You never have to do it perfect. We're human. We're not robots. We are human.
Just have to keep showing up. That is Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
I think it's Maggie Dent who says, be good enough. Just be good enough.
Just be good enough. Don't have to
Good
be
enough.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this chat, and we will talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.
We hope you have enjoyed listening to our podcast and that it brought a little inspiration to your day.
If you have any
Wild, weird, or wonderful
topics you'd like us to explore, send us an email to careersandcartwheels@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook
or Instagram.
and leave a comment there.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We can't wait to have you back for another episode.
Full of questionable wisdom and unexpected tangents. Until then, stay
Curious. And try not to pull any cartwheels without stretching first.